On to the next one we go immediately. Bournemouth, a team that has beaten City and Arsenal this season under Iraola. It'll be a tough game at Old Trafford. Amorim will make some changes, as he has in every game so far. But you do get the feeling he's going to start settling on an 11, probably at the start of next year. Will Rashford return? Will Garnacho start? Let's run through all the team news and preview the upcoming Bournemouth game. So the festive fixture pile-up is in full swing. Spurs midweek, and now we've got Bournemouth on Sunday at Old Trafford. I'm going to run through my starting 11, the team news, predictions, and you can let me know what you think is going to happen on Sunday. I don't know why I aggressively said you there, but I did. Anyway, let's run through it. You know, the first thing I want to say about this game is you look at the table and you think that's disgusting. United are 13th, because it is disgusting. And then you look at the table and you realise that if we beat Bournemouth on Sunday, we'd go above them, and they are 7th. Of course, it doesn't really take into account all the games that are happening between, but it goes to show how tight this table is. There is 3 points between 13th and 7th right now. And United, we need 3 points against Bournemouth. We've got 3 points against City, and that was a big one. In terms of team news, look, Amorim's confirmed that Mason Mount's going to be out for several weeks, which I don't know how long he's going to be out for. I think they're probably underplaying the severity of it. Mason Mount, I have so much sympathy for him. I genuinely do. But I put him in the same camp as Luke Shaw. In players at Manchester United need to be looking to move on as it stands. Like, you just, from the empathy and the human side, there's so much that you'd want to help Mason Mount with. But in terms of moving forward as a football club, we can't have players like Mount and players like Shaw anymore. We've had them too often. So I feel so sorry for him, but right now, I'm sort of checking out with Mason Mount. Maybe that's a bit harsh. You can let me know what you think. Probably is a bit harsh. In terms of actually the team improving, Amorim seems happy. And I'll be honest, like, that 4-3 against Spurs was chaos, right? To go 3-0 down, individual mistakes by India was awful. And I'll speak about Martinez in a little bit. But the attacking patterns were so much better in that second half when the better players came on and United really aggressively pressed as a unit, and the pressing created the chances, and we took the chances. I think we are improving, but there's still so much more that needs to be improved. Whether Rashford comes into this team, I'm not sure. He's available. Amorim said he's available, but he was left out of both squads against City and Spurs. Will he return? You can let me know what you think. As I said, that Spurs game, there were positives to take from it. I've already covered that in the video yesterday. But Bournemouth will not be an easy game. All right? They've beaten City this season. I mean, most teams have beaten City now. Beaten Arsenal. They are a good team. This was the team that started against Spurs. And, spoiler alert, there's going to be some changes. There's going to be some big changes. Of course, there were lots of changes against Spurs, and there's some obvious ones. All right? Buy in there. It was nice to see you. Well, actually, no, it wasn't really. I do feel for Bayindir, because as a second goalkeeper, you're hardly going to play. But then when you play, you have to perform. And unfortunately for him, he made mistakes. Will we see him again this season? Maybe, maybe not. Depends on whether Onana gets injured. But anyway, he goes straight back into the starting 11, Onana. Lindelof, he got taken off with an injury. So I think Lindelof is ruled out of this game. Not quite sure. The defender I want to focus on is Martinez, right? Martinez against City, I think, probably had his best game so far this season. Martinez against Spurs arguably had his worst game. And the reason I was worried about Martinez in the Amorim system was being exposed when he's that left-sided centre-back covering so much space. But the mistakes I think he made against Spurs were just focus errors, wrong positioning errors. Martinez allowing and showing Solanke on the inside rather than forcing him on the outside. These are the changes I think we're going to see defensively. Lindelof, well, he's injured. Yoro played 90 minutes, and the way that Amorim's manages players so far, that tells me that Yoro's going to be starting on the bench, because he will manage his minutes. I'd be very surprised if Yoro did play well against Spurs. I know, well, saying that, we conceded 4, but Yoro individually, I think, played quite well. And I think you'll see Maguire come in as a central centre-back, and it depends whether De Ligt is fit or not, all right? Because De Ligt was missing with illness from the Spurs game. If he's fit, I think he starts as the right-sided centre-back. If not, it will probably be Mazraoui, and then you probably bring Delo in on the right-hand side. But that's who I think we're going to play defensively. And also, I would make this change. Delo on the bench and Malacia going on the left-hand side. I don't know whether I'm being overly harsh on Delo. I don't particularly think I am. Well, maybe I am. But we could have had and should have had so much more creativity on that left-hand side against Spurs. There was so much space to exploit, and we just rarely exploited it. He did create a fair amount of chances, though. Others, well, yeah, maybe I'm being harsh. I don't think I am. But I want to play Malacia there. Anyway, midfield, there's only one man I want to speak about. Ugarte, right? Had a slow start at United. And lots of players do. It doesn't make them a crap player. What we have seen in the last few weeks now is what I hoped and expected Ugarte to be. Like, almost offended when he doesn't have possession. That's how he plays football. He's been a really important player for United as we grow into the Amorim system, and he will continue to be an important player. Now, Eriksen will not be an important player because Eriksen will go in the summer, and I think Mainu comes back in. I thought Mainu looked sharp when he came on, well, played the majority of the game against City, and also came on a half-time. Was it half-time? Don't know when it was. 55 minutes, thereabouts, against Spurs. I think he's starting to look sharper, and I think that's quite an easy one. Mainu coming back into midfield, and Ugarte, when it comes to player rotation this season, there's going to be plenty of it, and Ugarte has been rotated, but I think once he settles on the 11, I would expect to see Ugarte in the team every single week, and I would expect to see him against Bournemouth. Now, up front, of course, the main question is the main question about Rashford? A lot of the attention will be on whether Rashford plays or not. I think we'll definitely see Ahmad come back in. I think that's a bit of a given, right? Ahmad comes in, and I actually think Bruno will keep his spot there. Højlund will keep his spot up front. Or could you see Xerxes there? You could. I mean, Xerxes played quite well when he came on. Ahmad starts. Ahmad is everything right now. In possession, out of possession, the example. He's the role model that you point towards. That's what I want all my players to do, and that's probably what Amorim is doing. Rashford, I think if he returns to the squad, I think he'll be on the bench. And if he does play in this game, I'll be very interested to see what the response will be from Old Trafford. Really interested to see that. Anyway, prediction. Oh, horrible noise. Sorry about that. I'm going to go for a 2-0 to United. Bournemouth won't be easy. But I just... It's strange, isn't it, that we've lost 4-3 and it was chaos. But it did feel that United played quite well in a large portion of that game. City, I was too hungover to realise that United played better than I gave them credit for. And I think we're just building. So I'm going for a 2-0. I'm backing United. There's going to be changes. What's that, another 5 changes? No idea how many. You can let me know what you think in the comments below. But I'm going for a 2-0 win. Deliver. That'd be nice.